most important career decision that a woman makes is whether she chooses to marry and who she chooses to marry.
Prioritize what is that you want. If you have a passion to achieve it, if you have a passion to do something in life, yes, you will find a solution for it.
Yes, being a mother is the finest and the most emotional part of life.
Yeah, so hello and a very good afternoon to one and all present here. And firstly, I would like to wish very happy Women's Day 2023. So on this occasion of Women's Day, myself, Dhwani Mehta, who is the founder of Clique Community. So Clique is basically a community which is working with the women in the field of STEM, which is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And we do many technical events in this community. And today we are here to discuss something more important, more crucial, basically for women, which is actually after marriage. What happens is that work dynamics, work-life balance, everything gets disrupted a bit. So before getting married, people create very strong career background. They create everything. They are very much focused into career and everything. But sometimes I have interacted with many girls who quit their career after marriage, or they're again motivated after getting married to work with same passion, but then after having kids, sometimes because of increase in responsibility, sometimes because of increase in other household things, etc., they get demotivated and then they leave their career, and after a very long time it's very difficult for them to get back in again the work mode. And also so much amount of upskilling is required because this world is changing very rapidly. So if you have something skilled, then it's very difficult to upskill because everything new is coming here and there. So from being career oriented, women become a bit more about caring people. From career, they become more a carer kind of thing. Like they care about their family, they care a lot about their household. So I would like to understand from working women who are very successful in their respective field, who also have kids and are working very motivatedly in their career. So working not only empowers like financially. Some people think that we work, we get money, but it also mentally drives you more towards even managing your time, even managing your household sometimes. So, and sometimes there are many issues which are discussed, like there is work-life balance, and there is like adapting to the new environment, adapting sometimes to the new cities, which after marriage many people migrate to. Sometimes you also have unequal pay for women because of all these things, because they can take leaves very easily. So how efficiently and how prioritized we make our career after marriage is one of the topics which I would like to discuss in this panel discussion with our panelists. So I would be very happy to introduce all three of our panelists. So I would like to start with Pradipti. So introducing Pradipti to you, then Pradipti is a founder of Telugu Moms Network. And this community basically has more than 28,000 people in it, women. And it's like the first community, if I'm not mistaken, right, from South India, who is a part of like Facebook community by Meta. So in this community, we had a discussion with Pradipti. So she told that it discusses more about mothers' health and wellness, cooking, jobs, fun, entertainment, business promotions, etc. Because hobbies and everything goes aside when you get married and when you have kids, right? So they all discuss about this. They also support, it also builds a very good support system for mothers and guide them with the issues like child care, healthcare, traditions, values, and elderly support. And apart from this, you are also Pradipti managing another NGO like Sahaja Foundation, which helps young children in improving hygiene and aim in developing moral and ethical values. So you seem to work a lot with the services and so much more with the NGOs thing. And you also host some shows like Prosper with Pradipti, where you also discuss like this mompreneurs. So I can see your profile like that you are working in many different things in serving the society and uplifting women and uplifting the mothers and discussing very important issues with them and creating a very strong network with them. So can you just tell us a very short story about how you started this, what motivated you that this should be done, and how proud you feel as a mother to actually guide all these mothers and motivating them to work?
Yeah, sure, Dhwani. So basically, I have two kids. One is 14 and one is 7. So I had to start my career because of financial commitments and all immediately after my daughter. and I studied MCA, but I never have experience in that. So I joined as an event manager in a company, in a hotel, 5-star hotel. Till then, you just go to a hotel, eat, pay the bill, and come back. But then I got to know there are so many departments, interconnection, hota hai, all this stuff. So that's how I had very good and bad experiences because of my lack of expertise in that field. So I learned, and after twists and turns, lot of twists and turns, again, I had to quit for my second pregnancy. Then after pregnancy, I went back to hotel industry, but I had to face sexual harassment. So I decided, this is, after 2 kids, you lose your figure, you lose your confidence, you lose everything. But still people are so, immature, they just, think about some worldly material. So I said, okay, fine, let me sit in home and start content writing. So that also I started like, just like that, I started writing at 5 paise per word. So 1,000 words like you will get 50 rupees. So there also I lost money. The lady didn't pay me till today, like 7 years or 6 years. So, in that form, in that process of learning, exploring new things, I had built my own translation team. So I used to take work, and I used to get translations done. So like that, so I started working with women. So in that process, I understood that women want some support system. Then in that process, I traveled till 2019, and then this thought of Telugu Moms Network came. So there are thousands of communities in Facebook already empowering women, giving support, but especially Telugu speaking, we have a lot of communities in Telugu related to food, writing, fun, and all that, but not to mothers. So that's where this clicked, and in the overnight, I started in the afternoon, and I just invited few of my friends. In the overnight, it became 300 people. So that's the need. So in that process, I understood that there is no one to cry. Agar main nanad ke paas jati hu, if I go to my mother-in-law, they don't understand. I can't complain about my husband, or I can't vent out about my husband, but we always went out with a stranger. So that's how it all it's created. And coming to my NGO, it's not my NGO, it's my mom's NGO. Basically, she's a psychologist, and it's her passion to reach out adolescents, and she want to really empower them with today's issues, like early childhood marriages, or early pregnancies, side effects of using mobiles and all that. She's 60 plus, and she really motivates all of us to go front. And she just takes her laptop and she travels everywhere in and around Hyderabad. So she has that passion to help young generation. So it's all keeps motivating all of us in the family. If she can do, you are just like very young to her, so you can do that.
It was a very beautiful journey of yours, like how you started, and every time we don't get what we want, like all those experiences actually bring us what we actually want. And actually, it's very remarkable thing which you are doing, because everybody are just starting something or other, okay, because it's word of entrepreneurs and everybody want to start something. But the thing which you are doing is very helpful and useful to the society as a whole. So congratulations on whatever you are doing as a
Thank you
for the service of the others especially.
Thank you
Nice
so
to know
much.
more about you.
Thank you.
Second, I would like to again introduce second panelist of ours, which is Dimple Jain. So Dimple Jain is working with an educational campus as a campus director and handling the educational health of students from surrounding rural areas and managing basically the mental health of middle class parents, middle class children. So, and apart from that, one day I was just talking and I came to know that you are also learning Kathak at the age of 43 with like 78 kilos of weight. And so it also requires a bit motivation, okay, like it's you are aging, your weight is also not good, and then also you want to do something which hobbies are something which actually takes a back seat after having so many responsibilities. So I would like to learn more about you, and also like you got married at a very early age, right, at an age of 18. So how was your work dynamics afterward, because you completed your education after getting married, and like since long you are working, so would like to know your story also.
belonging to a Orthodox family, where actually brothers are going to English medium and we are going to Gujarati medium. So that discrimination was in our mind कि नहीं, भैया के साथ कुछ अलग हो रहा है, हमारे साथ कुछ अलग हो रहा है. Still there were dreams in my mind कि नहीं, मुझे पढ़ना है, मुझे आगे कुछ करना है. But dreams were mute actually कि 18 साल में शादी कर दी गई, अच्छा लड़का है, कुछ पढ़ना नहीं है. But still एक सपना था कि पढ़ना है. So when I got a good partner, उन्होंने कहा कि नहीं, पढ़ना चाहिए, तुम्हें पढ़ना है, you should complete your education. So again, with the responsibility of house, I have started my education, completed my graduation, then my B.Ed, then PTC and everything. Many of the principals, many of the authorities, many of the colleagues, it was a journey. When I was an employee, I thought when I will have the power or when I will have something to show, that time I will give you the best workplace to my employees that I haven't get ever. मुझे कभी नहीं मिला, as I have been suffering from many of the negativities around us. See, it's not about male or female, but when you are working better than others, you have to face many things, right? बहुत सारी चीजें होती है. It's not about only jealousy. There are competitions, there are comments, there are negativities जो आपको रोज डाउन फील करवाती है. But still उन situations में आपको अप रहना है. So getting support from my family, that is the major part where I am today. And the best part is, of course, partner who had supported me. As parents थे तो ठीक है, शादी कर दी थी 18 साल में, तो ज्यादा कुछ नहीं कर पाए. बट उसके बाद जो भी किया, yes, learning Kathak at 43 and 4th year, completed my 3rd year with first class in Kathak. So it's tough because in my dance class I am the oldest and small girls are teaching me Kathak. Didi aisa nahi, auntie aisa nahi. It's fun. When I got my education, when I went to college, I always wear sari. तो जब भी क्लास में जाती थी, बच्चे खड़े हो जाते थे, उन्हें लगता था कि मैं टीचर हूँ, बट मैं टीचर नहीं थी. I was a student. So I don't know how to express. I am a mother of 2 daughters. I'm having a daughter. The younger one is 12 years and the older one is 21 years. She went to Canada just 6 months back. But journey was not easy, but I enjoyed my journey. And as I'm having around 98 female staff under me, from peon to principal, daily many stories are coming to me. Daily many stories are coming to me, and I am just listening and listening. As a campus director, I am working as a PRO. My office doors are always open, so they just come and share me, and they feel free to share each and everything. And I always try to understand. So they are always telling, मैम आप सब कुछ समझते हो. As मैडम सब कुछ इसलिए समझती है because at 43 मैडम सब कुछ देख के यहाँ तक आई है. So I understand कि when you are working, how many issues, how many problems you have to face at home, at workplace, from the family, from your authorities, everything we have to face. And
Absolutely.
I always try to get in the stories to roots. Okay, what is the actual problem? Why she is crying? Why she is upset? Why she is not coming regularly? Everything. If sometimes what happen, कई बार teachers आते हैं, कई बार educators आते, they are very energetic when they join, but gradually there are changes in their working pattern, in their attitude, in their behavior. So I always try to get the stories. What is the story? Why she is behaving like this? Why she is talking like this? Because I observe minutely. And जैसे बताऊं कि बहुत छोटी उम्र में शादी हो गई थी और बाद में पढ़ाई की, तो एक चीज समझ में आती है कि when I started my job, I was underqualified, but somebody put trust on me. So whenever I'm recruiting or I'm meeting anyone, or when somebody comes to me for any type of job, I don't ask them their qualifications. I just go on skills. So
Yeah.
this is my story.
Actually, yeah. Your story is very remarkable, and basically what I feel is the confidence. People don't have that much confidence that even after happening, even after not having so much good qualification, or might be because of some circumstantial things, you should be very confident about yourself, basically. And
Yes,
like you are also
because actually when many people come to me when for jobs and everything, so they are having extremely qualified but they don't have the they don't have that confidence. उनमें confidence नहीं होता है कि वो खुद को represent कर सके या खुद से कोई अपनी बात रख सकते. They don't. So that confident matters. Actually confident matters for girls, for women. Confidence is the main key. अगर वो है आप में तो आप कहीं भी आगे जा सकते हैं. बट कॉन्फिडेंस इज नॉट और दैट यू हैव टू क्रिएट. वो आपको कोई दे नहीं सकता. आप वो आप कहीं से खरीद नहीं सकते हो. ठीक है, किसी से ले नहीं सकते हो. दैट कम्स फ्रॉम विद इन. वो अंदर से आता है.
Absolutely. So yeah, that's very true. And in general, women are underconfident. Whenever it happens to any work or anything, they become underconfident. So it was very nice to know yours from you, your story, Dimple. Thank you for.
I just was sorry to interrupt in between. I was just thinking I'm the only underconfident person here, but and nice to know that there are so many in the bandwagon.
Yeah. Yeah. So nice to know your story, Dimple. I would again like to introduce third panelist of ours, which is Prashanti. And Prashanti is a PhD candidate and Prime Minister's Research Fellow at Department of Computational and Data Science at IISc. Yeah, right. And broadly, her research interests are at the intersection of hardware as well as software domains. And like prior to joining IISc, she worked on developing device drivers at Intel. Prashanti holds MTech from IIT Bangalore and BTech from MS Ramya Institute of Technology, both with gold medals. And she is very passionate about mentoring and education and has volunteered with various other communities and other organizations in this space. So like your career seems to be at a very, it's at a peak, right now. I see that you have done a very good education and you were also a gold medalist from your institutions. So when did you get married? And I think it's not been long time. How exactly your work dynamics and everything changed basically?
Yeah, first of all, Dhwani and to the rest of the Clique community, thank you so much for having me as part of this discussion. And again, it was great to meet Pradipti and Dimple and hear their stories and also learn from them. So very happy to be here, first of all. And yeah, so I've been married for a little more than 4 years now. So I finished my master's and then I started working, and then my parents said, do you want to get married? So at that point in time, like many other people, I was not fully ready for it. I was thinking about it. Maybe this is too early. I'm just 24. Should I get married right now? Should I wait for a while? And I knew that I wanted to do a PhD. But that's where one day, I think somebody told me about this. And I remember this quote from Sheryl Sandberg, I think. She said, the most important career decision that a woman makes is whether she chooses to marry and who she chooses to marry. And like our other panelists also touched upon, I think who you marry plays a very important role for the rest of your life. So I told my parents I'm open to the idea if I find the right person. And I started searching, and then I found somebody who I was very honest, and I communicated that I'm working right now, but at some point I want to go forward and do a PhD. What do you think about this? And are you supportive of that? And that sort of honest and clear communication really helped me understand what I wanted from my life and my career, and also what my partner wanted. And once I knew that he would be supportive of my goals and my career in life, then that kind of fear that many other people have about marriage, that marriage can be a stopping point for all the dreams and ambitions that I have, kind of went away. And in my experience, I think marriage has been a very big supportive and enabling factor for me, because I think within a year of getting married, I started my PhD. And since I'm doing it from IISc, it's a very rigorous and very, very hectic program. But within a year of that, my father had a stroke and he was completely paralyzed and bedridden. And at this point, my husband had just started a new job. So we both were very shattered by this event, and we were both thinking of, oh, how are our careers going to work? Because I had just finished a year out of my PhD and he was in a new job. And it's only because, today it's been 1.5 years since that incident, and it's only because of the unconditional support that I've gotten from him that I'm still able to continue, still able to not just continue, but also thrive in my PhD program and do whatever I need to do well, right? So I would say that as long as you're clear about what you want, and you can find a partner and family who are supportive of that, because it's not just the partner, right? Oftentimes your in-laws might have different opinions, and the extended family might say certain things and things like that. But if you're able to kind of be clear about what you want from life, and you're able to find someone and their family who's supportive of that, I think marriage can be a very big enabler in your life. So yeah, that's kind of broadly my story and where I'm at.
Nice to hear from you. But I would like to ask you that how long did it take for you to accommodate to, like, what happens is you change your house, you change the people with whom you are daily interacting with. So sometimes everything changes. It's not something like it happens very suddenly. It's not like that you know everything. So how long does it take for anybody to like change, to accommodate? Because in work also you are working very steadily. Suddenly everything changes. So how much time do you take to accommodate?
Right. That depends. And again, like I think you mentioned initially, for some people, marriage comes with a lot of other changes. Like they move to a different city, maybe they start a new job, maybe they have to adjust to a new family and things like that, right? So the time kind of varies from person to person. And it's okay to take that time to figure out kind of uh, initially you might feel a lot of things. So for someone say who's never been apart from their parents, they might miss their parents a lot, they might be very homesick. Or you're starting a new job and you have to deal with responsibilities at home, and for people who get married early, this can feel like very overwhelming. So it's okay to take a certain amount of time where you focus on these new changes in your life and try to do the best you can. Those times I think you might not be able to give your fullest at work, and that's okay. But what matters is that determination and willingness to keep trying and to continue even when it seems like it's not possible or it's not sustainable. So I think you mentioned that many people quit after marriage, right? So people, of course, there's nothing wrong with that if that's what someone wants to do, but there are some people who want to work, but then they feel overwhelmed by these series of changes and they're unable to cope up with that. But what I would like to say is that while it can feel overwhelming in that moment, things will not be the same way throughout, right? After a while, you get used to it. So it's very important to persist through that period. Like for me, when I got married, I think it was not too many changes. I was still in the same city. I had to move to a different house, but my job and other things were more or less the same. So I had to deal with a lot of additional responsibilities, and I had to interact with my in-laws and get to know the rest of the family and all of those. But mainly it was okay. Whereas this second event that I mentioned, where my dad was sick and he was in the ICU for almost 3 months, and it was a very extended period where my family faced a lot of financial, mental, emotional difficulties. So at that point, I really considered quitting, and it seemed like things would never get better, right? And in that moment, you're unable to see past that to a future where things look better. But it's important to persist through that time, and that can be for some people taking a short break, taking some time to focus on the personal stuff, right? But eventually it is important, if you really care about your career, right, it is important to come back and try and make that effort to persist, and that really helps. And my mom went through this too. So like Pradipti was mentioning, my mom is in her 60s too. She's a doctor, she's 67 and she's still working. So she's had a career for around 40 plus years now. And so at this point, when this happened, both of us were thinking about, will we be able to sustain our careers? But what we both of us have done it today, and we are at very different ages and phases in our life. But I think that's what really matters, when you really care for your work and you're passionate about it. Because like you said, it's not just for financial reasons. Some people might see it that way, but it's more than that. A lot of your identity revolves around what you do at work and what value you add to the society, right? So remaining focused on that and persisting on that through the long term is, I think, what will help people go through such periods which seem overwhelming.
Absolutely. And it's really quite motivating to hear your story. But that is true. But one more thing which I wanted to discuss is the responsibilities increase, right? So Dimple, you have kids, right? You also have a daughter, right? So after marriage, responsibilities increases even more after having kids. So your emotional state is some different at some different pace, and at your professional work is also at a different stage. And also sometimes like you have to leave your kids and then you have to go for work. So how guilty you feel that, okay, I'm not able to spend that much time with my kids. So doesn't it sometimes doesn't it sometimes demotivates you that I'm not spending ample amount of time which I should be with my kids?
Yes, being a mother is the finest and the most emotional part of life. When I was having my first daughter, I never kept her alone, as I have started my job when she was at the age of nursery, as I'm belonging to a teaching career. So it was easier for me to take her with me at my school. So then after 6 years, when my second daughter was there, I take a drop for 2 year, 2.5 year, and when she was at the age of nursery, I again joined my job. So there was not a time when I have to keep them alone कि मुझे because I am having a very small family, so me and my husband is there only, so कोई उन्हें take care करने वाला था ही नहीं, तो I have to carry them with me. So yes, I have survived a lot, as we are having in need of money, but still इमोशनली मुझे ऐसा लगता था कि मेरे बच्चों को शायद मेरी ज्यादा जरूरत है, सो आई शुड नॉट जॉइन द जॉब. यस, मैं थोड़ा सा कम में रह सकती हूँ, पर मैं अपने बच्चों के बिना, बिकॉज दैट इज द टाइम, पहले 2, 2.5, 3 साल ऐसे होते हैं जब बच्चों को सबसे ज्यादा हमारी जरूरत होती है, और अगर उस समय हम उन्हें छोड़ देते हैं तो एक इमोशनल जो बिल्टअप रहता है लाइफ टाइम के लिए, वो नहीं हो पाता है. हाँ, जरूरत होना एक अलग चीज हो गई, बट उस जरूरत के साथ समझौता करके find a solution. We need to find a solution. Yes, I was doing tuitions, so apart from that, not doing a job, tuitions were there, so सब कुछ मैनेज हो जाता था.
All right, thanks Dimple for sharing your story. Like it's very right that it always, nobody is like, they are always more close to their children and like they always would want to be with them, but you should also like respect that you are doing work, and that is also as important as managing your home. But I would also like to understand from you, Pradeepti, that you are managing a community, right? So many a times issues like mental health, many a times issues like getting depressed, getting anxious might be coming into picture. So because you are working with a community of mothers, I think that might also be a topic which might be discussed with you. If you can share some stories regarding women's mental health after having kids, it would be really nice.
Yes, it's a very, very big issue. What happens is, as Dimple said, or Prashanti said, till the time we get married, we are so individual. And with the times changing, parents are concentrating on studies of girls. That's a very good thing. It's really good. Okay, they are enabling them to go to a career of their choice or a country of their choice. But where the problem comes is, they are not educating on them after marriage. Kya hota hai? After marriage, what are the responsibilities? What is that? What happens to you when you become a mother? Last 2 weeks back, I was talking to someone, a very close relative of mine, and she was saying, I'm doing very good in my career, okay, but going for a kid is a wrong move in my life right now because I'm not ready. And she's 30 plus, okay. See, you have to understand, you have to go to a counselor or take some help if you don't know, okay. So that point, that gap in between, the understanding and actual reality, like, bacha is like ho jata hai and they'll grow up. It's not a movie, where, in one single song, the kids grow up. It doesn't happen. it's a lifetime project. So we need to be, as a woman or whatever, we need to be more. It's patriarchal society, end of the day. Okay. Our husbands are supporting us, that's wonderful. They are also getting comfort in that. Okay, let's not, mahan nahi banayenge usko. It's their house too, it's their kids too, it's their responsibility too. Yes, we appreciate each other, we cherish each other, that's fine. But what I tell the moms of my community whenever they approach me for any counseling or anything, that's what I tell, prioritize your, what is that you want. If you have a passion to achieve it, if you have a passion to do something in life, yes, you will find a solution for it. Okay, so if you're taking a break, enjoy the break. Okay, if you're doing something, enjoy that something, that 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, whatever it is. So if you have to take a break in your career for 2 years, don't think about anything, don't compare yourself with someone else, because most of the times the mental health is not affected. For that we need a really strong mindset and a supportive family. So keeping up, that's what we try to educate, because we are all young mothers in the community, most of the people. So we ask the elder ladies, we tag them and we ask them that, hey, how did you manage? Because you are, you have kids, you have in-laws, you did a job. So how do you manage? What do you give your tips to, next generation mothers? So that's how we learn, the other problem with this generation ladies is we don't ask. We think we know everything, we manage everything. No, it's not that. We need a support of a family or a community or friends, strong support system we need, because uh, in the last eras, if you see, we are in joint family, but now we are in a nuclear family. Like Dimple said, she managed everything alone. Okay, so it takes a lot of effort, lot of patience, lot of frustration control karna padta hai. You can't shout on your kids, you can't show your frustration to your husband, because mother is the pillar of the house. We need to accept it. We end of the day, we are strong. When compared to men, we are strong and we can handle multiple things. We are multifaceted, multi-talented, whatever you call, we are all that. So we need to be strong. So, what is the 2 cents I would give to the people who are watching is, being prepared for anything and everything is always good before going to motherhood. If you want to go to motherhood, please understand it's a lifetime project. बच्चा पैदा किया, दे दिया किसी को और छोड़ दिया, it doesn't work. Okay, so if you want to have a career and also kid, yes, it's possible, but you need to make some sacrifices. Some things should be left somewhere. You can't be perfect everywhere in every moment. So you need to find out what are your strengths, what are your weakness, what you need to analyze it before you go for a kid or after a kid.
Absolutely.
So that's how I would suggest keeping a mental health in place.
Yeah, that's most important thing, because everything else can be managed if your mind is working correct. Sometimes you doubt yourself, sometimes you feel underconfidence. Even before having kids, everything is on the mind game. Okay. So mental health, keeping it strong is not only for mothers, it's for anybody and everybody.
That's right.
That's right. One more thing, that okay, everything is good, but like sometimes society and culture expect so much, like from the married woman. Like Prashanti, you got married 4 years back, right? So like there are some expectations which society impose on women, which also they have to face. Would you like to give any advice on such kind of things, how to deal with society?
Right. I think women are kind of conditioned to be people pleasers from a very young age. We struggle with saying no, right? I think that's the single biggest problem. You have to learn to say no to certain things. I think both Dimple and Pradipti mentioned having priorities and time management, right? Now, as a PhD student, for instance, if you take my example, I might have an exam coming up. And at the same time, someone in my husband's family might say, oh, I have this function coming up, you definitely should come. And if I prioritize that and go to that, I might not do well in my exam because I won't be able to study. But I have this thing that, oh, I'm newly married, so I want to please them, otherwise they'll think I'm a bad daughter-in-law or bad whatever relative, and therefore they will judge me. So if I hesitate and then go there and spend that time, my career takes a hit, right? So as they both mentioned, you can't have it all, and you have to be clear about what you prioritize and when you prioritize it. I'm not saying that you need to prioritize career all the time, but there are certain things that are important to you as a person, and when those things come, you need to prioritize them, and your personal life might take a slight hit because of that. You might have to sacrifice something. There have been so many cases where I've said, no, I can't come today, I'm busy with this, I'm busy with that, and people might not have understood. They say, oh, we also studied, what's so special about you studying? And I don't need to justify myself or explain myself to those people. Sometimes you feel bad because of that, sometimes you feel guilty because of that, but that is something that you have to deal with when you want a good career, right? So it's a choice that you're making. You have to be very conscious and aware about it, and you have to make it and learn to say no without feeling too guilty about it. You can't make everybody happy at the end of the day, no matter how much you struggle. I've seen a lot of women trying to do everything. They say, okay, I'll go to this function, I'll also manage my household chores, I'll also study, and they compromise on a lot of personal things for that. They don't sleep, they feel very tired, and you keep doing this for a longer time, it accumulates. At one point you feel completely burnt out. You can neither function as a professional nor on the personal side, and then you start feeling frustrated with people, saying, why are they pressurizing me to do so much? The point is that you have to say no. You have to say, this is something that I can't do, I have other commitments. And you'll face different reactions from different people because of that. But people who truly support you, who are part of your support group, right, whether it be friends or relatives or anybody, they will understand and make space for you. If I say I have an exam tomorrow, somebody who really cares for me will say, I understand that, it's okay, it doesn't matter if you're not able to come to this function today, there will be another one that you can come to, right? A very simple example in this case. And sometimes there are very hard choices that you have to make. For instance, this example I gave was where I could easily say that this is fine, I don't need to do this, I can focus on one thing. There are some times when both your career and your personal life seems very important, right? Those are the very hard times. And sometimes, no matter how hard you try, one of them takes a hit. It is something that you have to live with. For instance, when my father was in the hospital, I could not focus on my academics as much. And I would many times compare myself to students who stayed in the hostel, who had a lot of time, who didn't have to worry about all of this, and they could do so much better than me. They could spend so much time. I had to worry about how we'd manage finances. I had to worry about whether he'd be able to walk again. I was so worried about my parents, and then I still had to study, right? So you feel like, oh, the world is being unfair to me. But ultimately, you have to find out how best you can manage it, and you have to feel proud of yourself for what you achieved, because you have to take into account your circumstances. No one is going to come and tell me that, oh, you did a great job, you had so many things and still you managed, because most people don't even know what you're going through. But you as a person know exactly what you're going through. And so don't compare yourself to others, both in the personal and the professional space. Because while trying to be women who have a career and a personal life, we compare ourselves to both extremes. For instance, you might, as I think Pradipti mentioned, you might compare yourself to a colleague who seems to be doing much better, whose career is taking off much more than yours. And you might again feel, oh, I'm not doing enough, I'm not doing good. And on the personal side, again, you will see people who are maybe having a very balanced life, who seem to be very happy, whose kids and husbands and entire family is doing very well. And you again feel, I'm not able to spend time with my family because I'm spending time on my work and I'm not able to give them enough time. And I feel so guilty about this. But that's where I think comparison hurts, right? You have to compare on the whole. You have to look at all that you are going through and ask yourself, am I doing a good job? Am I happy with what I'm doing? Forget what society says, forget what cultural expectations are. And at the end of the day, if you are truly happy with what you're doing, both on the personal and the professional side, then nothing that anybody says to you will matter. It won't even touch you.
Absolutely.
It'll
Yeah.
just bounce off.
So basically, it's very right thing you said that women find it difficult to say no. But the thing is, women should be very thoughtful. Everything in life is like taking decision, right? If you don't think for yourself, and if you think that somebody else will think for yourself, at that time you will start feeling that, okay, this person is telling me this to do, I should do this way. That's when the society will come into picture. But if women starts thinking based upon their thought process, everything will become more simpler. They will come to know what should they do, why should they do, and what are the circumstances. If there is a circumstance, they will face it because it was their choice and nobody imposed that thing on them. So it was really nice to know the stories from you. Like it was, all the stories were so fair, and it's very important to take decision, and women should be a very good decision maker also in that case.
Right.
Like Pradeepji, I would also like to ask you that there are maternity leaves, right? So after getting a maternity leave, it becomes difficult to cope up. Like people need to upskill because you around 6, 7, whatever time you are dormant, you don't work. Then after you get to work, you have to upskill yourself. And apart from that, it's not always that people should go back to corporate, right? So women should also like have something that which they can start of their own. They can become entrepreneurs. So they can be risk takers and also in that case. So in your community, you promote women to work after they become mothers, right? So what do you suggest to them? They should again join back corporate, or how do they upskill themselves? And what if they don't want to join corporate after this? If they want to start something of their own?
When compared to 7, 8 years or 10 years, now social media is helping a lot. Everyone, to show their talent or to show or to promote business, whatever it is, social media has brought everything together. So, it's not compulsory to start to restart your career with corporate. Again, it all comes to priorities. Okay, if you want to start something on your own, and if you think you have to upskill something, if you have to learn, if I'm passionate about cake making, okay, so I will invest some money on some time, some expertise into it. I go, I learn, and I start my own business. Okay, so it's not always compulsory to go back to corporate. Yes, corporate pays good amount, 100%, and also they take good amount of our chunk of our time. So if you want to manage, if anybody wants to manage and have a passion to build their own career at their own pace, yes, it takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of passion. It takes a lot of dedication, concentration, everything. But there are so many women out there who are really doing well. I have a lady in my community who left, because of some issues. She had to leave her corporate career, and she earns 60,000 per month selling jewelry, selling saris, selling dresses, and everything. So she takes maximum advantage of social media. Okay, she does live in my community. So whenever she gets a stock, she does half an hour or 1 hour live in my community, Facebook Live, and her stock is like chutki bajao to chala gaya, half of it is gone. So the first, you need to understand, first time, no, it doesn't work. Second time, no, it doesn't work. But if you have that passion, you will explore, you will learn, you approach people. But most of the time, what ladies don't do is zero investment lagana hai, like we want to do zero investment and we want amount this much returns. So it doesn't work like that. We need to have that patience and investment of time. So we need to understand how the world is working. We need to understand how it will work. I tried A, no, it doesn't work. I tried B, no, it doesn't work. I tried C, yeah, it worked. We need to try and explore new things to go ahead. So I have bakers in my community. I have people who are into reselling, the people who are like, you name the industry, handmade jewelry, people have started shops, their own shops, whatever size it may be, but because of my community, they started their own shops. So from a reseller, people are becoming wholesaler, stockists, and from stockists, they are starting their own shops. I personally, I wanted to always become an entrepreneur. Okay, I really wanted to do something. So I invested in everything. Like, I learned cake making. It didn't, and after coming home, it didn't work out for me. I don't know why. Okay, I don't have a reason also. So I tried soap making, cosmetic making, So it didn't work out. But after starting community, I feel my community as my third baby, and I feel so proud seeing mothers doing so many things, handling so many things at the same time. Some ladies are there who are working and doing business and handling, you know, houses also. So if one can do, no need for you or me to do, no comparison, do at your pace. Corporate is not the everything. Recently we saw 15-20,000 people just, they lost their job in overnight. So women can do multiple things. So save for yourself. One more important point, most of the ladies earn money and give it to husband or someone. So saving for themselves is super important. Whatever happens, buy a ring or buy a necklace, it doesn't matter. Buy a sari or do a fixed deposit, it doesn't matter. But save a chunk of it for yourself. That's what I really tell my community people. Saving is really important for any untold, emergency. Because in one situation, I was there where I didn't have, I was working, but still I didn't have a single pie in my account. So, our life is best experience. So once you've gone through that experience, you should not repeat it. Like if it is a good one, keep on repeating. But if it is a bad one, don't repeat it. Don't land into the same pit again and again. So we have to learn, relearn, and everything. So that's what I say. Corporate is not everything, but if you can manage, start your own career. So we need to have that persistence.
Yeah, absolutely. The thing is very right that women should be like financially independent as well. Most of the people don't know much about finances. Like they give their parents or they give their husband, anybody, the right to manage their finances.
I mean, when we are talking about finances, so, we have Facebook groups which educate women on finances also. See, if you want to learn something, the world is quite open. Uh, if you don't know anything about finance or anything, you just have to ask someone. We don't do that. As Prashanti said, two things always stop us. Ladies, we don't say no, the first point, and second one is we don't ask. This is my requirement. I want. Even with the husband, we expect. So don't expect. You tell him that, hey, I want this, will you help me? So Telugu mein kahawat hai, if you don't ask to feed you, mother also will not feed you. So, you need to ask, open your mouth, I want this. So I need this. So something like that. So otherwise, nobody can go into your heart and they explore your options and they'll give you. So we need to learn that. And I learned it very late, but better late than never. So good.
Very rightfully said. That's very rightfully said. Not only in terms of mothers or anybody, but even students, even undergraduates. Anybody need to ask. And you should dream actually what you want. People don't have dreams and then they just do whatever they are told. You should marry, then they get married. You should now have kids, they have kids. You should think for yourself. You should think what life you want, and every woman has the right to think on their own because we all are given that much good education enough that we should think about our life.
Sorry to say, education is different, common sense is different. So yeah. So we should be sensible enough in taking decisions, or if we take wrong decisions also, we should be able to, don't regret, at least, step forward and own it up and try to go forward in life.
Yeah, it was a very nice discussion with all three of you. Like Dimple also pointed many good points, like after having kids, how difficult it was for her. And like it was very good panel discussion as a whole. And like there are many more topics which we can discuss here and there, but the most important topics which are really important were like very nicely discussed with, in this discussion. I would be thankful of all three of you to be a part of this discussion and throw a light about your life journey and how motivated you were at each stages of your life, because difficulties don't leave anybody. It comes in everyone's life. But like you people actually reached the place where you wanted to and overcome all the struggles in life. So once again, congratulations. And actually, it would be really motivating for even other girls out there to listen to your life journey and life story. because I myself am very much motivated by you. Thank you so much. Any advice, any remarks you would like to give before we end the session? Anybody, Dimple, Pradipti, Prashant?
Yeah, I completely agree with Pradipti on what she said. There is actually this book that I read 3 years ago, which was called Women Don't Ask. And it left such a big impression on me. It was exactly about what she was talking about. So it was talking about the pay difference between men and women at a certain level. And a lot of studies have found this. But they said the main factor that causes that is women don't ask. And it's often like that, right? We are socially conditioned to accept what people give, and if we ask, we are considered dominant or arrogant or aggressive or one of those things. But it's, I agree with her that we should really think about what we want first and then ask out loud. People can say no, right? That's the worst they can do to you for asking. But if you don't ask, then you can't blame anyone else because you haven't asked. So I really agree with that. And I had a great time today talking to all of you. And you too, Dwani. It's very nice to see that you founded Clique. It's a very inspiring community. I just learned about it today. But very nice to see that you're doing that. And I would love to learn more about what you guys do. And I learned a lot from Pradipti and Dimple's stories as well. Thank you again for having me.
If I can add one more last last point, okay, because we are talking about women, I can't stop myself.
Women are talkative. Like if we are given ample time, then we will keep on talking.
Of course, after this we can continue that.
Yeah.
No, apart from that, saying no and asking for help. Apart from that, we are always tagged. Whatever you do, good, bad, best, wonderful, you're tagged in your organization, you're tagged in your family, you're tagged everywhere. Even in my community, people tag me as a principal. I'm very strict, okay? I'm very stringent on my rules. So that's okay, I tell my daughter, she's 14, okay? So whenever we talk, she's very, very close to me. Of course, every kid is close to mother, but, I tell her, okay, तुम बुरी हो, इससे ज्यादा बुरी नहीं हो सकती हो, okay? So you're already bad, you can't become bad more than this. So this is your ultimate point of becoming bad. So you're already bad, so don't try to impress anybody if someone is tagging you as bad or whatever it is. So, we have to really think about this. This tagging, once you're born, you're tagged as a girl for entire your life. You sunte rehte somewhere or the other.
Yeah.
Oh, you have got 2 girls. Oh my God. They are not going to feed us. They are not going to give us food or, whatever it is. They're not going to pay for our education or anything. But still, they show sympathy. Dimple can relate it to that, because she was mentioning that, at 18, she's married and she's got 2 kids, 2 girls. When I was born, I'm second child and I'm a second time girl in the family. So everybody showed my mom sympathy that, oh my God, you got second time girl. So, till date, somewhere or the other, we keep on listening. Even in my community, there are discussions going on. So we are tagged by birth. So don't get affected by tags. That's what I want to say, as my last point.
Yeah. That's very true that women are tagged a lot of times. Yeah, Dimple.
Yes, I just wanted to share when I was having my second daughter and my husband was calling to inform everyone that we are having the second daughter. People were like that, हाँ अच्छा बेटी हुई ठीक है, it's okay. But it was not okay. We were happy to share that we are having the second child as a daughter. They were just giving us sympathy कि नहीं नहीं ठीक है, कोई बात नहीं, second child daughter है. So after my operation and everything, when I was with good health, me and my husband were laughing कि how people are like, मतलब उनकी सोच किस तरह से जा रही है कि आपको ये मिठाई नहीं बांटनी है, आपको वो मिठाई बांटनी है क्योंकि आपको बेटी हुई है. नाउ दे पीपल विल डिसाइड कि उन्हें क्या मिठाई चाहिए क्योंकि हमें बेटी हुई है. सो फ्रॉम द बॉटम गर्ल्स आर डिस्क्रिमिनेटेड इन दिस टाइप ऑफ वे कि भाई इस तरह से नहीं होना चाहिए. Yesterday one lady come to me as I was in need of a sports teacher. So one lady who was very good in sports and she just shifted to Gujarat from Himachal Pradesh. So she came with her husband. So as soon as she entered my office, oh, यहाँ भी ma'am है. And she was laughing and she told me कि पांचवा स्कूल है when lady is leading, and my husband was surprised कि गुजरात में सब जगह ladies are leading. So that is not the way. Yes, we are managing things better than us. Not, it's not about comparing, but yes, managing things and being with a group of people where females are there, males are there. We need to manage the mental health of male and female both, because I have been through the discrimination of a male and a female, a boy and a girl. So it was like in my mindset कि ये चीज नहीं होनी चाहिए, ये चीज सीधा यहाँ असर करती है, ये चीज सीधा यहाँ पे असर करती है. Yes, we are good at managing as we have more patience than men.
Yeah. So it was like very good to discuss all different points of view from each one of you, Pradipti, Prashanti, and Dimple. And thank you so much for being a part of this panel discussion. It was very insightful, and many of things we all will learn from it. I would again like to end this session on a good note, and I would like to introduce a bit about my community, which is Clique. So we are again going to come with some events later on. So which might be in the field of tech, and which might be some projects which might be coming up. So we will soon be coming up with something new. But this talk is something which is very important for us, and it will be really motivating all the girls out there. Thank you so much for being a part of this.